In the chaos of World War II, where death often lurked in the skies, stories bordering on the miraculous sometimes occurred. Airplanes, turned into heaps of twisted metal, continued their flight. But how can one land a plane when half its wing is missing? How did pilots manage to defy the laws of physics, gravity, and their own instinct for self-preservation to return home? This is a tale of unprecedented courage, engineering resilience, and an incredible will to live. Aerial combat in World War II was not just about maneuvers. It was a hellish dance of steel and fire, where a single mistake or a direct hit meant certain death. A ramming attack, though rare, was always a death sentence. Aircraft were literally torn apart in the sky. Tens of thousands of pilots knew that their machine was a flying coffin, and any critical failure would turn it into a blazing meteor falling to Earth. But even in this hell, sometimes the unimpossible happened. In 1944, over occupied France, one such story unfolded. Major Howard C. Park, pilot of the legendary P-47 Thunderbolt, known for its strength and power, was on a routine fighter patrol. His Thunderbolt was a symbol of American engineering prowess, capable of withstanding incredible damage. But even this steel beast was not invulnerable in the face of a direct, high-speed collision. A moment later, a deafening impact tore through the sky. A Messerschmitt Bf-109, emerging from the clouds, crashed directly into Park's right wing. Metal shrieked, tearing apart, and the shockwave rattled the entire aircraft. Inside the Major's cockpit, a blinding light flared, mixed with the smell of burnt kerosene and pain. His head violently struck the instrument panel, and for a moment consciousness left him. When he awoke, the world around him had turned into chaos. He struggled to open his eyes. Before him was only an abyss. The right wing was almost entirely gone. Only a stump remained, from which torn wires and pieces of metal protruded. The rate of descent sharply increased. Air whistled through the ruined fuselage, and the wind howled, trying to rip away the remaining skin. His heart pounded in his chest like crazy. Every breath was difficult. But fear lasted only a fraction of a second, giving way to cold, animalistic determination. Death hung in the air, but instinct, training, and a pure will to live took over. Major Park knew to eject now meant capture, or crashing if the parachute failed in this maelstrom. He decided to attempt the impossible. The slightest movement of the control stick caused a wild roll. The left aileron worked under extreme stress, trying to compensate for the absence of right-side lift. Every muscle in his body was strained to its limit, and cold sweat beaded on his forehead. No less astonishing stories are associated with the B-17 flying fortresses, which were designed to withstand unprecedented damage. One such aircraft, nicknamed Torpedo Boat, lost almost its entire tail and half a wing in a 1943 battle over Tunisia. The metal was riddled with holes, hydraulics severed, but it continued to fly, a testament to the incredible durability of American aircraft engineering and the crew's perseverance. Inside the B-17, the situation was no less desperate. Crew members, many of whom were wounded, fought for every inch of space, for every drop of hydraulic fluid. They used manual systems to keep the plane airborne, relaying commands down the line. Everyone on board understood that their survival depended on a collective effort. Fear was palpable, but every glance, every movement conveyed one message: we will not give up. The miracles of aerodynamics should seemingly have ceased to function, but pilots like Park or the crews of the flying fortresses intuitively found a delicate balance between destruction and flight. They used every remaining inch of aileron, every engine impulse, to compensate for lost lift and stability. This was not just mechanics. It was the magic of intuition, acquired over hundreds of hours in the sky, when the aircraft became an extension of their own body. A similar feat was accomplished by F-6F Hellcat pilot Lieutenant Gale Hull, who in 1945, over the Pacific Ocean, had part of his wing torn off. His fighter, like the P-47, was known for its durability, but the loss of such a fragment should have made a carrier landing impossible. Nevertheless, Hull, with incredible skill, managed to bring his crippled aircraft to the deck, avoiding a crash and saving a valuable plane, and, more importantly, his life. On the ground, or on the aircraft carrier deck, everyone who saw these crippled machines coming in for a landing froze. Technicians and air traffic controllers, accustomed to the horrors of war, couldn't believe their eyes. When the plane finally touched down, a sigh of relief, then thunderous applause erupted. In these moments, the war receded, giving way to pure, unadulterated admiration for human will and skill. These pilots returned not just from a mission, but from the very jaws of death. After each such landing, engineers and mechanics gathered around the miraculously surviving machines, studying every tear, every dent. They were witnesses to how metal and man had overcome their limits. These stories quickly spread, becoming legends, inspiring others, and reminding them of the incredible resilience displayed in the darkest conditions. Every scratch on the fuselage told its own story. These incredible flights, accomplished by pilots of P-47s, B-17s, Hellcats, and many others, became more than just episodes of war. They became symbols of human endurance, engineering genius, and an indomitable will to live. Each of these airmen, commanding a crippled machine, demonstrated not just skill, but the profound depth of the human spirit, capable of defying death itself. These stories are forever etched into the annals of aviation, as an eternal reminder that even when all seems lost, hope and courage can pave the way home.